Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I would like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is part one in a five-part series specifically aimed at people that are just starting out in BNI Connect, whether you're a brand new member or whether you've been a member for a while and you're just getting into BNI Connect and learning more about it. We're going to go over the five biggest aspects of BNI Connect in the course of these webinars. The first part of this series is what we're going to be talking about today, and that is the power of your profile. Before we get started on the webinar today, just a couple of housekeeping things. First of all, this is a live webinar. So that means if you have any questions at all while we're going through the material today, please do feel free to ask those questions. The best way to ask those questions is to use the question panel within this GoToWebinar software. You can click the button and type your question in. I will see that pop up on my screen as we're going through the material, and I can be happy to answer those questions. We're scheduled for about 30 minutes worth of content. I try to keep these nice and short and sweet so that you guys can get right back to your busy schedules, although I do appreciate you taking the time to be here with me today. That being said, I will stay on these calls until every single question is answered. This is what I do all day, every day, support BNI Connect. So again, happy to spend as much time answering questions as need be. We are recording this webinar as well. The recording will be made available in a couple of different places. You can find it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, as well as on our support site. And I'll show you both of those things towards the end as well to remind you where to go to find those. Now, before we get started on the profiles specifically, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background on BNI Connect, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of the scope of BNI Connect. BNI Connect is a huge program. Currently, we are in 72 different countries around the world, 948 regions, about over 7,000 chapters on BNI Connect. We're hosting 36 country websites, 800 region websites, almost 7,000 chapter websites. There's almost 200,000 users in BNI Connect around the world. There's also a number of discussion groups that help to connect people together. Let's see, David says he's having a hard time seeing the screen. There's a blank square in the middle of the screen. Is anybody else having trouble seeing the screen? Or does it look okay to other people? All right. David, I'm getting a couple of responses back that it's coming through for other people. If you are having trouble, my only suggestion right now might be to disconnect from the webinar and then reconnect to it, and it should refresh the screen to see it better. All right, sorry about that. All right, see, I told you guys it was a live webinar. So the really, this is just to give you an idea of just how big BNI Connect is. We are part of a global system, and that has a lot to do with what I'm going to talk about today with the profiles. And with the profiles, because we have these country websites, we have the region websites, we have the chapter websites, your profile is available to millions and millions and millions of people using the internet around the world, but it's also available privately to 190,000 users within BNI Connect. From a technology standpoint, BNI Connect it's a pretty large program. It is important to know that it is not a website. It is a web application. So a lot of the things as we go through these series of webinars, it's important to keep in mind that it's a very deep program. It really is it's kind of like the QuickBooks and LinkedIn for BNI worldwide. It's an application that has 935 individual web pages within it. That's not even including all of the chapter pages and all of the regional websites and country websites. There's also 120 different reports. It's got a dozen different programming languages. From a translation standpoint, because we're in so many different countries, every single thing in the system has to be translated to 47 different languages, including a dozen different versions of English, million lines of code. I mean, it's a monstrous system. So keep that in mind as you're using it as well. It is also the first time in the history of BNI that we are all on the same system. So I'm personally a BNI member as well. I've been a member since 2002. Now, when I joined BNI back in 2002, I only knew about the people in my personal chapter, and those were really the only people that I could even get in touch with. If I met somebody else at maybe a regional training or at an event, or they're in BNI in another state or something, and I wanted to get in touch with them, it was nearly impossible for me to do so. If the other region or if the other chapter had a website, maybe I could get in touch with them. But now with BNI Connect, we are connected with every other member around the world in every country that BNI is a part of. So that's part of, again, what I'm going to show you today is that how can we make sure that as we are connecting with other people around the world, and as we're looking for other people around the world, and as other people are looking for you, to make sure that you're putting your best profile forward. So let's take a look at that. So first, let me show you, this is the BNI Connect after you've logged in, but let me show you there's also some public places that your profile shows up, namely the country websites, the regional websites, and the chapter websites. So for example, let me go to bniamerica.com. Now, this is our country website here in the United States. If you're from another country on this call today, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, wherever, you more than likely have a country website as well. But here in the United States, we have bniamerica.com. Now, on these sites, I can look for chapters. I could go to visit a chapter. I can even look for members and members services. So let's say that I'm looking, the easiest way is just to look by name. So I'm just going to look for myself here. So this does a search. It's searching against all members in the United States. There's only one Jeremy Walsh. I am in the Rhode Island in the Wakefield chapter here. Now this is my public profile. Anybody with access to the internet or with access to Google for that matter has access to search for and see this particular website. We have a question quick from Gloria. She says, what's the PIN number for phone listening? You should be able to get that by clicking on the telephone icon or the telephone number. I don't have the PIN accessible to me right now, but if you switch your audio to telephone, it should show you the PIN number to see. All right, but again, this is the profile. So if somebody looked for me or somebody did a Google search for me, they would see all of this information about me. They would see my, my profile picture and my company logo and my name and all my phone numbers, my social media links, so they could go right over to my, my Facebook page or my LinkedIn page or any of those other pages that I have up there. They can also read about my business. And what I can show you is you can even embed a video right into your profile as long as it's hosted on a YouTube or a Vimeo or something like that. There's also what we call the TOPS profile and all that information about that as well. Now there's also regional websites. So I'm here in the Rhode Island region and we have a website just dedicated to people here in Rhode Island. So if I go to bniri.com, this will show you our regional website. And within the region here, again, I can look for a member, and let's say that I'm looking for, someone that does computers in Rhode Island, and click search here. It's going to search against all the people that either have that in their keywords, or it's going to have that in their profile somewhere. So this tells me I need to update my keywords here because I don't have the plural of computers. So if I just do computer Rhode Island, now this should come back with my name, and this is the same profile. There's also chapter websites. So my chapter has a website as well. It's actually bniri.com/Wakefield. And this is just a website. It's a fairly default website that's dedicated to our chapter. And this has all of our chapter members' profiles in it. Now, when you looked at my profile, that was a fairly full profile. I'm going to go to my test region up in Antarctica. So Antarctic referrals. Oops, I always spell Antarctic wrong. And if I go to antarcticreferrals.com and I do a search for a member up here in Antarctica where they haven't logged in yet for the most part and filled out their profiles, well, mostly because it's a test region. But let's say Rick Martin, Richard Martin, I believe, is one of my people. Good old Ricky Martin. If I do a search for Richard up here and I get my results for Ricky Martin, in my Testville, my BNI Burr chapter up there, what we can see is that Ricky hasn't taken the time to fill out his profile. So this is what your profile looks like right now if you haven't filled it out yet. You can see it has, it does have a phone number, it does have your name and your address, but not much credibility building information in there. So let's see, how do we actually go about and fill out our profile? Well, from just about any of those sites, you can click on the BNI Connect button, or in some places it'll say members only, and you're going to go to log into BNI Connect. So I'm already logged in, so it's going to bring me right in. If you don't have a name or password for BNI Connect, please feel free to submit a support ticket. We will get you set up right away. I'll show you how to submit a support ticket in a little while, or send an email to support@bniconnect.com. We will get you set up as quickly as possible. But once you log in, this is what you will see. And here's really, this is your personal POMS report. So how you've been doing in BNI. So all of your revenue received and your referrals given and referrals received and thank you for closed business given and visitors, one-to-one CEUs, all of that information for the last 12 months and for your lifetime in BNI is right here at your fingertips. This is also where you would submit all of your online slips, but we'll get into that in another webinar. What we want to talk about today, though, is how do we fill out our profile? So once you log into BNI Connect, the way to do that is to click on right up here at the top, there's Update Profile, My BNI page. Clicking this button will bring you into your personal profile where you can start filling out all of the information. Now, I would give yourselves, for the very basic part of it, all you need is about 3 to 5 minutes to get a profile, to get your My Business done and your logo and your picture up there. But when we get to things like the bio, that might take you a little bit longer. So I would carve out about a half hour's worth of time to do a good job with this. Once we're in our profile, you can see that it's broken into a number of tabs along the top. So we have our main profile tab. The one that looks like a person is the user profile, the contact details, your account settings, your bio. If you happen to be a director, you'll have a director profile as well, and your training history. So what we need to do is to go through these tabs, and we're going to see what's on them, what shows up where, and how to fill them out. Now, this first tab here is your main profile tab. Your main profile tab has, well, your name, your phone number, things, well, not your name, your business name and things like that. Now, your name and your business name, you do need to make a request usually to get those changed, and that's because it does need to match what is on the paper copy of your application with the regional office. So especially if you're changing company names or industry or classification, you may need to submit a new piece of paperwork. Usually you don't have to make another payment, but you do have to update your paperwork with the office before we can change it in BNI Connect. So that's why you can't usually change those directly. Down at the bottom, though, we can start making edits down here. Oh, by the way, registered tax office and VAT reference number. Those are specific to various countries around the world. For example, in Australia, In Australia and possibly New Zealand, they have to record their registered tax office as part of their profile. In some places in Europe, businesses have to record their VAT reference number, which stands for value added tax. Here in the United States, you can leave those blank because we don't need to record those here for our profiles. Now, going down to the bottom, this is where you do need to start spending a little bit more time. The My Business description, the way that I look at the My Business description is that it's going to be, if let's say you're at your chapter meeting, for example, and you are doing open networking, and you're in open networking and you meet a visitor that has never been there before. So it's the first time that you've met this person. How would you succinctly describe your business to that person? So you don't want this to be a super long description, especially for people that are finding your profile on the internet or finding your profile here in BNI Connect. You want to make sure that they're going to be able to read it quickly. If it's 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs long, they are not going to read it. So really 2, 3, 4 sentences. And as I had mentioned earlier, you can even embed a video. This is one of the few fields that will allow you to do basically HTML markup in order to do a little bit of coding in there. Now, you don't need to know HTML coding to get a video in there. Really, all you need to do is to upload your video somewhere and copy and paste what's called the iframe code or the embed code into your My Business description. So, for example, all you need to do is go and shoot a video of yourself. You can even do this right from your cell phone. Take a video of yourself talking, introducing your business, or have the videographer or the maybe a photographer or somebody in your chapter that does that take the video for you. Create yourself a free YouTube channel if you don't already have one and upload it. So then once you have it uploaded, so now I'm going to go to youtube.com /BNI Connect Global. And this is our YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please do take a look at our YouTube channel, youtube.com /BNI Connect Global. This is where we host all of our recorded content. So after today's session, I will be uploading this particular webinar into our webinars up here on YouTube as well. But once you have your video uploaded, which again only takes a couple of minutes to do, go and watch the video or go to the page where you could watch your video. And once you're at this page, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see a share button. If you click the share button, this is just the URL. You don't really want to use the URL because that will just send them to, they'd have to click on it, it'll bring them to YouTube. What you want is this embed code. And this embed code is what you're going to copy and paste into your profile. Now, if you'd like to, you can edit this a little bit more. For example, a width of 560 is pretty wide, so you probably want to do a custom size and make it a lot smaller. So you probably want to make this 350 or smaller from a width perspective. You notice that it did change the width up here, so it does that all for you automatically. When you're ready to go, highlight this, copy and paste it right into anywhere into this My Business, and it will then show up on your profile. The next thing that you want to do is to look at the keywords. Now, when somebody does a search for you, either on the public side or within BNI Connect, most of the time they're not going to know your name. So they're going to be looking for you based on your keywords. So it will look against your name and your address. It will also look against your industry and your classification. However, we do have a limited things in the drop-down lists that we can choose from for classification. So you want to really supplement that with as many other words as you can possibly fit, which is about 400 characters worth, into the keywords section. So for example, when I was just doing this myself, I did a search for computers and it didn't show up. So I want to make sure that it's going to do a search for computer, but it doesn't do a result for computers. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to add in a result for computers. And that way, if somebody does a search for that, they can find me. Now, most of the keywords for your business are obvious, but one of the things that you also want to do is that if you keep in mind that we are not Google. It is not a Google search. It is a database search, which is why you do have to be specific with the words that you're putting in there. But it also works the same for addresses. So if somebody does a search, for example, for computers Rhode Island, it's going to search for Rhode Island and find me because my business address is Rhode Island. However, if you know anything about Rhode Island, it is a tiny little state. It takes 35 minutes to drive from one end to the other. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Phoenix, Arizona is bigger than the entire state of Rhode Island. So that being said, a lot of us do business outside of Rhode Island, in Massachusetts and Connecticut, the two neighboring states. So I made sure I put in MA for Massachusetts and CT for Connecticut. So if somebody does a search for computers CT for Connecticut, they're going to find me as well. This also works in really big states like Texas, California, places like that. You may want to put in key cities that you want to be found in outside of where your business address is. All right, if you make any changes, do make sure that you click the update button in order to update those changes. Keep in mind that any changes that you do make, changes to your My Business or some of the phone number changes that we're going to be doing, they should show up immediately on your profile. So they will be updated. You don't have to republish anything or things like that. However, keyword changes, they will take a half hour to recache in the search database. The next tab is your user profile tab. So you want to go through, this is really your username and your password. If you need to change your username, if you want to change your password, you can do that anytime. You can make your username anything you want it to be. The only difference is that it does have to be unique, so you can't be sharing a username with anybody else. It does not have to be your email address. As a matter of fact, we kind of recommend against using your email address. The memorable question and answer is that's your challenge question. If you lose your password or if you've forgotten your password, if you go to log into BNI Connect, let me just open another browser here. If I choose forgot password, it will try to look for me by my email address in the system. I do have to type in a CAPTCHA code. And when it finds me, it will ask me my secret question or my memorable question. I need to answer that correctly in order to be able to reset my password. So keep in mind that the answer is case and space sensitive. So if you have spaces in the answer, you have capitals, lowercase, it is case and space sensitive. Choose your time zone, your language, upload an image and a company logo as well. So if you need to upload an image or a logo, you just click on the change profile picture button, for example. And you just need to go and find the appropriate image. So you are going to browse your computer for that image. You can then open it and upload that photo, and that will now be on your profile. The very next one is the Contact Details tab. The Contact Details tab is going to be all of your contact details, so all your phone numbers, your email addresses, your fax number, direct number, mobile number, all of your social media links, as well as your physical addresses as well. The most important things on this page to keep in mind, the very top option here, incredibly important, show me on BNI public websites. If this is unchecked, you will not be found on any of those public websites. You will not be found on, for example, BNIAmerica.com. You will not be found on your regional website. You will not be found on your chapter website either. So if, for example, you do need to have that happen for compliance reasons, I know a lot of financial advisors may need to opt out of the public site. This is how you do it by unchecking this box. For everybody else that wants to be found, make sure that there is a check in that box. Now moving down, you'll see that next to each of the different contact fields, you'll see show on website. If you would like your mobile number, for example, to be shown on your profile on all of those public websites, keep a check there. If you'd like that mobile number to be hidden, uncheck that and it will not be shown. Keep in mind that we will not show your email address on the public sites, but there is a button that allows people to send you a message. You can put in all your different social media links in here as well. Now, it will only allow you to put one Facebook in, for example. I can't add another one. However, the label doesn't really show up anywhere, at least not publicly. So if you have more than one Facebook, I just used another one that I don't have a Ning account, so I just put my other Facebook address under the Ning account. So that way I have all of my social media links showing up on my profile. Choose your addresses as well. You can choose which of them will show up on the public website by choosing the appropriate checkbox there or radio button. If you do have a home business and you don't want the actual address to show up, just make sure you put in by appointment only or something like that into the address line. But make sure you have a legitimate billing address so that your regional office can get in touch with you and send you materials as needed. The next tab is the account settings, and this is your member-to-member profile settings. So I'll show you just in a minute what your internal profile looks like, but you can show which of those tabs you're going to be sharing with other people, whether you're going to be sharing those tabs with everyone, just your connections, or nobody. My recommendation is to share all of your tabs with everybody. But again, that is up to you who you decide to share them with. There's also some notification options here as well. The bio is pretty straightforward, however, it does take a little while to get through. On the bio tab, we have your traditional bio. This bio is the same bio that your secretary treasurer would hand to you to fill out by hand before one of your chapter presentations, one of the 10-minute presentations at your chapter meeting. If you'd like to, you fill it out here so that they don't have to chase you for it later. It has your years in business, hobbies, things like that. Again, that's the standard BNI form. You also have an opportunity to type out or upload a video of your weekly presentations. You can embed a video here just like you can in the My Business field. The benefits of doing this are that it will display on your profile internally in BNI Connect. That means that there's 190,000 people in BNI Connect. 189,950 of them will never get to hear one of your weekly presentations. You can upload them in BNI Connect though and share them with a much wider audience. There's also the gains profile, goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills. If you think back to your member success program, or if you haven't taken your member success program, please do book that right away. But what we learn is that we should do a gains exchange, meaning that before we sit down for a one-to-one, if I'm having a one-to-one with you, I would send you or have you look at my gains profile first. That will immediately get that one-to-one turbocharged. It will get it started much faster because we'll have deeper things to talk about than just our, how's the weather and how are the Red Sox and did you see that basketball game last night? There's also the TOPS profile. Now the TOPS profile, if you have only 5 minutes to spare to do this, do the TOPS profile first and go back and do the rest later. The TOPS profile does show up on the public internet sites. So that one is, crawled by Google. Make sure you fill that one out first. Of course, if you make any changes, click Update. BNI Connect does have a 30-minute timeout, so if you walk away from your computer for more than 30 minutes, it will log you out of BNI Connect. If you haven't saved this stuff, it will lose it. So please do make sure that you click the Update button every once in a while in order to save what you were working on. If you're a director, you can have a separate director profile. And finally, Your training history will be displayed on the training history tab. You cannot enter that directly. That happens when your regional office records you as having been at a training. If you see any discrepancies there, all you need to do is contact your regional office and they will gladly help you out in order to update that training history. Now on the inside, as I've already showed you guys what it looks like on the outside of BNI Connect. On the inside of BNI Connect, we can find other people by clicking this magnifying glass. And just to show you what this profile looks like to other BNI members, and this is private just to other BNI members, I'm going to do a search for myself here within BNI Connect and do a search for Jeremy Walsh. Of course, keyword searches work as well. And here's my exact match. I'm the only Jeremy Walsh currently in BNI in the world. If I click my profile, you can see that the interior profile, this inside profile, is largely the same, but does have some additional things. So other people can still see all this information about me, but they can also see my keywords. So keep in mind that your other chapter members will be able to see your keywords, so try not to step on anybody's toes with your keywords. My phone number's on the inside. It will display my email address if I choose to, and then it has my address details. But we also share our other tabs with the people in BNI Connect. So we're sharing our weekly presentations, our gains profile, our tops profile. The bio itself is only shared with your leadership team, but you can see other people's connections. You can see their testimonials from the inside of BNI Connect. There's a photo sharing option. You can see what groups people are participating in. And finally, the training history is shared with other members as well. And that, my friends, is the profile here in BNI Connect. We are at the bottom of the hour, so what I'd like to do is to open this up for questions. If anybody has any questions at all whatsoever about BNI Connect, I would be very happy to answer those questions. For those of you that do need to leave right away to get on to your next appointment, I do just want to say thank you so much for being here. This is being recorded. You'll be able to find it in two places. One, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. The other place is I do have a whole support site set up for BNI Connect. You can get there by clicking this question mark in the upper right-hand corner of BNI Connect. So this question mark will take you over to the support page. And here is the support page. You'll see that it has our list of upcoming webinars for the next 2 months. So please do join us. A good referral for me is to please let your other chapter members know about these webinars. We will be doing our next part of this series tomorrow at the same time, 3 o'clock Eastern time. So a good referral for me is to have somebody register for the webinar tomorrow, please. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see our training and documentation, and you'll see all of our webinars in here. For example, the July series of recorded webinars, as well as all of the reports and other things that you can do in BNI Connect as well. It's all here on the support site. All right, so do we have any questions? I would love to answer those questions. Tom's question has already been answered. So if you do need any additional help with that, Tom, just let me know. Happy to help. Let's see. Rinkal says, can you share the webinar after meeting to all attendees? I want to provide this to my chapter's Connect coordinator. So yes, absolutely, you can do that. I believe the link will be up within a day or two up on the YouTube channel, so you'll be able to find it there, although you're welcome to also share any of the previous versions, which are very similar, although I did change a couple of things around in this month's version. The other thing that you can do is if you're just looking for a very short video, up on this YouTube channel, if I go back to the beginning of this YouTube channel, there are educational moments that you can share. So there is a particular educational moment. If I click on educational moments, there is one just for visibility on the public website, and you're passing a referral. But right here, updating your profile, there is a very short 3-minute video just on updating your profile. So that might help you out when it comes to teaching your chapter how to do it as opposed to the 30-minute webinar. So hopefully that that helps, Rincal. All right, let's see. Tom says, great webinar. There's a lot more to BNI Connect than I thought. Thank you. You are very, very welcome. We are barely scratching the surface so far. So there's, again, 4 more webinars that go much more in depth. So I very much invite you to join us for some of those additional webinars. Stacy says, where do I go to view how my profile looks? So you can either search for yourself by clicking on this question mark. That'll search your internal profile. Or if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the screen, you'll see a thing here that says profile that will also take you to your profile. If you want to see what the public sees, click this button in the upper right that says regional website. That will take you to your regional website and do a search for yourself here. And that will show you what you look like to the rest of the world. All right, Stacy, does that help? Socorro says, no questions, but great web training. See you tomorrow. I look forward to seeing your name on the list tomorrow as well, Socorro. Thank you so much for being here. Amber says, do we enter this as a CEU? And if so, how do we do this? We'll be covering the online slips tomorrow, but if you'd like to do that for today's webinar, on your home screen, click on Submit CEU. And what you want to do is give yourself 1 credit. So you can give yourself a credit for a BNI webinar here, which is the second option down. But honestly, if yours doesn't say that, just choose any 1 credit. That is absolutely fine. All right, so give yourself a CEU for today, please. Absolutely. Along the same vein, Rachel does ask, will this show up that I attended this webinar? This one will not show up in your training history simply because we don't take attendance through BNI Connect. It's all done through GoToWebinar, so I don't have a way to really keep track of the attendance on this one. But your regional office should be able to add this one as a training history. So if you run into trouble with that, shoot me an email and I'd be happy to help you out. support@bniconnect.com. Okay? Hopefully that helps, Rachel. Ted says, recommended format and dimensions of the business logos. Also, where to view the profile while not logged in to see the non-BNI version. So Ted, the dimensions, I don't know the dimensions off the top of my head. I think the picture is something like 150 pixels wide by 200 pixels high or something like that. Let me, oops, wrong one. Let me check on the, I thought I had answered this question on the support site somewhere. So I can, let's see. Yeah, I don't remember where I have this answered. If you want to shoot me an email, I should be able to answer it in the support once I find the actual dimensions. I apologize, I don't know off the top of my head. As far as seeing yourself as to what members see, again, click this regional website button in the upper right-hand corner and do a search for yourself with Find a Member from the public site. Okay? Rincal said, how can I report to the BNI regional office to enter this on my training history? Go to your regional website and the contact information for your regional office should be on this page. So you should be able to send a message to your regional office from the contact page of your regional website. If you're struggling with that, again, just if you can go to the support site and submit a request or submit a ticket. So if you go to support.bniconnect.com or again, click the question mark in the upper right-hand corner. If you submit a request here to us in support, we can help you get in touch with your regional office if you're struggling. Stacy says, do you know how I can change my industry and classification? For that, you do need to talk to your leadership team. So talk to your vice president, or if you're in the UK, to your membership coordinator. You may, depending on how big of a change it is, you may need to submit a new physical application. Again, you don't necessarily have to pay, but it has to match what's on your application. You can't switch from, for example, from lawyer to Mary Kay representative. So that would need to go through them. Then your regional office can change it on your profile, but it does need to be managed by your region directly. And if there is something that doesn't exist, for example, Rinkal, I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong, but says that e-commerce consulting doesn't exist, it can't be added by the leadership team. If it is something that doesn't exist anywhere in the system, then what you need to do is your executive director needs to submit a request that it's added. That's something that's controlled by the national office. And once a quarter, all of the requests are reviewed, they're compared against what's already in the system, and if they're approved, they'll be added in. So you still have to go through your regional office for that one. All right, does that help answer your questions? All right, let's see. Couple more questions. Tom asks, can you please repeat how to enter a CEU? So let me go back to my home page, which is going to be the first screen you see when you log into BNI Connect. And if you scroll down just a tiny bit, you should see Submit CEU Slips. Submit CEU Slips. Choose a 1. If it says BNI Webinar, so you can choose that one, or if it doesn't say BNI Webinar, it doesn't say that in all countries, just choose a single credit and click Submit. Rachel says, do I still have to physically go to training? Absolutely, especially if you're talking about the Member Success Program. You absolutely want to go to training. BNI, the more you go to training, the more you will get out of your membership. Even if it's repeat training, I am a member of 13 years and I still go to member success programs on a regular basis and I still learn something new. Different trainers teach, may focus on different things. You may be in just a different frame of mind to learn something new. So I would absolutely say go to physical training in your region. Absolutely. So if it's physical training on how to fill out your profile on BNI Connect, that may be redundant, but other trainings, yes. All right, couple more questions here. Carla says, can keywords be more than one word? Absolutely. Keywords can be really whatever you want them to be. You really don't even have to put commas in there. Again, I'll just repeat, this is a database search. It is a giant database. We do not have Google's budget or search algorithms. So what you want to do is, put in as many words as you want to. It is going to search each word individually. So you can put in more than one keyword and it will search them all when it's doing them. Does that answer your question, Carla? Deborah says, how can I search for another BNI member? The best way to do that, log into BNI Connect and click this right up here, the magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner. This is the BNI directory search. This is what will allow you to search for anybody that's active in BNI around the world. So director consultants, members, executive directors, national directors, anybody in BNI, you can find using this particular search. So you can search by keywords. So I was in Hong Kong recently for BNI. I can do a search. Let's say I wanted to get a massage in Hong Kong. Right? I can do massage Hong Kong. This will show me everybody in Hong Kong that does some type of massage. They either have it in their keywords or they have it in their industry and classification. Or as I said before, you can search by people's names. So for example, Deborah Defoe, I can search for you. And I can click on your profile. I can see that you've gone to the Member Success Program. There's your picture. You're in the California Ventura County area in the Referring to Success chapter. Is this you, Deborah? So great job filling out your profile so far. Excellent. I can see that you're in jewelry. Excellent. You're your own jewelry designer or consultant. I mean, this is all excellent information. If I was to find you, I'd have the ability to get in touch with you, and I can look at your profile. If I'd like to add you to my BNI address book, I could then click on Add Deborah to my connections. I would send you a connection request. I can personalize this if I'd like to. Thanks for being on the webinar today. And if you accept that connection, it will show up in my connections address book. And as a matter of fact, on Wednesday of next week, I believe, our step 3 is connecting with other members. So we're going to go deep into the whole social media interface of BNI Connect, so the connections, the testimonials, the groups functionality, all of that in BNI Connect. We're going to talk about next Wednesday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. So, Deborah, does that answer your question? All right, and hopefully as millions of people watch this recorded video, they will get to know you as well. Tricia says, why does it say working on next to Deborah's profile? So let me pull up Deborah's profile again real quick. So it says Deborah is working on. So that's actually a kind of like a Facebook status or a LinkedIn status, so to speak. You can update that on your home screen. So if I go back to my home screen, you'll see next to my profile here, this is my little is working on statement up here. So you can type in whatever you want there, and once you type it in and save that, that will appear as your little kind of bullet statement as part of your profile. So does that answer your question there, Tricia? All right, Tricia's was the last question that I have on my list here. Do we have any additional questions at all about BNI Connect? So again, a great referral from me, of course, is to please help me to get the word out about these webinars. Our next webinar, again, is tomorrow. We're going to talk about the online referral process. And then next week, we have a couple of webinars on connecting and member tools and reports. I would also absolutely love it. Please, please give me a like on Facebook, facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. I'm really trying to get up to 10,000 likes. Where I think I'm like 50 away from 10,000 likes. So if you could please give us a like. We do webinar announcements and reminders and tips and tricks and all sorts of things up on our Facebook channel. So please do give us a like up there. I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, couple of last minute questions here. We have one from Deborah regarding testimonials. Can someone who is not a member write a testimony for you? For that, they cannot leave you a testimonial on your profile because they don't have access to BNI Connect. We can only give testimonials to people that we're connected with in BNI. That being said, you could get a testimonial from a client if they write it up for you. And then you could, if you just save it as some type of a graphics file, so you can maybe scan it to your computer and save it as part of on your pictures as part of your profile and leave that testimonial there that way. And you upload these by going to Network Picture Gallery. So does that help, Deborah? All right. Thera says, very informative. I'll miss the one tomorrow, but see you next week. I look forward to it. And you can always catch the recording for tomorrow as well. All right. So that's it for today. Oh, Jack says, I got here late. Where can I watch this again? I will be uploading it in the next couple of days. The best thing to do is to click on this question mark That will take you to the support site. Click on the question mark. It will take you to the support site. And right here in the list of upcoming webinars, you'll see one that'll say August 2015. I'm sorry, September 2015. We didn't do any in August. Or scroll down to recorded webinars and you'll see the August webinars in there. If you don't want to wait for the upload, again, which will happen in a couple of days, feel free to view one of the previous ones from previous months. Although I will say I slightly changed the format for today's session, added a couple of things. All right, now I think that was the last question. So thank you guys all so much for being here, and especially those of you that hung out till the very, very end here. I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar, and happy connecting.